So welcome to Peaceful Warrior Yoga. Let's start in a comfortable seated position today and notice how the body feels at the beginning of practice. And today we'll be bringing our attention down into the legs, strengthening the legs. So take a moment just to press down on the thighs, the inner thighs as you sit there, and the quadriceps. Maybe look down at the legs for a moment and just get a sense of all the different muscle groups that we have. I like to think of the legs as having 4 dimensions. We have from the knee up to the hips, the quadriceps, the inner thighs, the adductors, the outer thighs, the abductors, and then the hamstrings above the knee. 4 directions. And then below the knee we have the strong calf muscles and the shins that help flex the feet and stabilize the knee. So a big part of strengthening the legs is to stabilize the knee joint. And most of us, I think, would agree that the longer we keep our knee joints in good health, the better it is. So with that awareness in mind, roll the shoulders back and down, palms face up, elbows close in, and feel the base of the seat, the sit bones, knees, the base of the volcano. And then lift up through the central axis, lift up through that center tube of the body, up through the heart, the throat, the roof of the mouth, the crown of the head. And notice as you create this shape, notice the engagement in the inner thighs. The inner thighs activate. There's a sense of strength, even as we sit. When we sit in good posture, we activate the inner thighs. It's the same as if you were sitting on a chair. If we let the inner thighs go slack, we slump. When we activate the inner thighs, our posture starts to lift up. Let the crown of the head rise. Let the skin, the outside of the body, soften. So feel this paradox. The strength in the legs, activated legs, grounding down as we lift up. The outside of the body softens. And the theme of today is really to be economical. So we don't need to flex the inner thighs. We just need to let the inner thighs activate economically. We don't need to overdo it. So as we lift up, the inner thighs activate. We don't need to activate the inner thighs anymore. So just feel this sense of not overdoing, just working at a thrifty level. And in that posture, notice your breathing today. As you inhale, feel the breath come down into the thighs, into the low body, to the sit bones. And as you exhale, lift up with soft outer layer, soft skin, soft face. Feel the flow of the breath. On the next inhale, reach the arms up, clasp the fingers. Let the pointers reach up, cross the thumbs. Press down through the sit bones, lift the hands. Bring the arms back and feel the inner thighs here as you take a moderate breath in and hold the breath. Hold the breath, and as you hold the breath, squeeze the buttocks, lift up. Feel the inner thighs activate as you reach up, reach up, reach up. For 3, 2, exhale, gently release. Lean forward, remove the props from behind you that you're sitting on, and come onto all fours facing the top of the mat. Cat and cow. Feeling the spine moving with the breath. Moving slowly so you feel the engagement of strength, not momentum, in your cat and cow. On the next inhale, extend the left leg back, drop the ball of the foot onto the mat, press out through the heel bone and feel the posterior chain of the leg. Feel the calf muscle, the hamstring stretching out. Inhale, lift that leg and start to wave it behind the spine like a great big dinosaur tail, left and right. Try to keep the leg at the same level as you sway the hips. And notice how the hip swaying creates certain tensions all the way down through the legs. Curl the toes down and back. The next time the foot sways to the right, drop the ball of the foot onto the floor and press out through the left heel. Press out through the left heel. Feel the engagements on the outer hips. Extend left hip to the left. Look over the right shoulder. And as you do that, feel the engagement of the inner thigh on that left leg. So the outer thigh, the abductor, is stretching. The inner thigh is engaging, feeling that strength of the inner thigh. Inhale ahead to neutral as you float that foot out to the side. Drop the pinky toe down, left foot parallel to the long edge of the mat. And gently start to pulse the hips back and forth. So you feel the inner thigh, the adductor, stretching this time. The abductor, the outside thigh, working to hold the leg out. So part of the economy of noticing the inner thigh is noticing that the outer thigh works in synchrony with the inner thigh. As the inner thigh stretches, the outer thigh engages. Come back to awkward child here. And in awkward child, create a little ballistic pulse, just a little one, just to feel that extra stretch in the adductor. Inhale, come up to awkward tabletop, and then pick that left leg up into fire hydrant. So fire hydrant, a lot going on in fire hydrant. Engaging the AB ductor, bring that knee up a little higher, and then start to rotate in slow motion. Bring that left knee to the right knee. Keep the knee bent. Push the foot up towards the sky. Keep that left knee bent. Come into a nice back bend. And then back around into fire hydrant. Lift your fire hydrant a little higher. Exhale, back, knee to knee. Lift that foot up. Back to fire hydrant. Lift a little higher. Good. Exhale, back. Knee to knee. Foot to sky. Lift the gaze. Feel the back bend here. Out to the side, fire hydrant. Lift a little higher. And then back the other way. So bring the knee behind you, foot up. Lift the gaze. Feel the back bend. Exhale, left knee to right knee. Out to fire hydrant. Lift a little higher. And then back behind, lift the foot up. Knee to knee. One more time, fire hydrant. Lift higher. Bring it back, foot to heaven. Knee to knee. Bring the knees apart, child pose. And just notice the activation of all four quadrants of that left leg. The right glute would have been firing up as well as you held that fire hydrant orbiting action. Inhale, come back to tabletop, cat and cow. On the next inhale, bring that right foot back, drop the ball of the foot, pressing out through the right heel, creating a stretch in the back of the legs. Release as you float that right leg up and start to drift it left and right, dinosaur tail. Nice and slowly. Feel how the hips are working to sustain that left-right action. Feel the inner and outer thighs working here together to abduct and adduct that leg. And feeling the relationship between the thighs and the abdominals and low back. So there's a lot of core work. The next time you float that foot to the left, drop the ball of the foot onto the floor, press out through the right heel. Once again, become conscious of this relationship between the outer thigh and the inner thigh. The inner thigh contracting now, outer thigh stretching. Extend the right hip to the right. Look over the left shoulder and feel that inner thigh tighten up. Tighten it a little more. And then exhale, release as you float that right leg out. Pinky toe grounded, foot lines up with knee. And start to pulse the hips back and forth. Now feeling the stretch of the inner thigh and the contraction of the outer thigh. If it's comfortable, come back to awkward child with a little ballistic pulse, keeping the pinky toe grounded. So you really open up and stretch that inner thigh. And then come back up, float that right leg back into fire hydrant, lift a little higher, and then bring the knees together. Push that right foot up, lift the gaze, feel the back bend here. Feel the hip flexor working to lift that foot. Exhale, fire hydrant. Lift that knee a little more. That's it. And then back, slowly knee to knee. Lift the foot, lift the gaze. Exhale, come out, fire hydrant. Imagine someone's trying to push down on your right knee. Lift up against that push. Knee to knee. Lift that foot. Lift the gaze. Fire hydrant. Lift. And then we're going to go back the other way. Bring the foot behind you, lift up. Push the foot up as if you're pushing a big weight up. Lift the gaze. Knee to knee. Fire hydrant out to the side. Lift a little more. That's it. Back. Lift the foot. Lift the gaze. Knee to knee. Last one. Fire hydrant. Lift. Push the foot to the sky. Lift the gaze. And then bring that right knee back. Knees wide. Child pose. And just feel how much the core and the legs work together there as a team. Inhale, tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Curl the toes, bend the knees. And keep the knees bent. Push back, downward dog with bent knees. Spread the weight through the hands. Feel the finger pads press down. Lengthen through the arms, lengthen through the spine. And then press the left heel only back. Keep that right knee bent. Feel the back of that left leg light up. And then switch. Right heel back, left knee bends. Push through the left hand. Walk your dog for a few more walks each side. Bend both knees, lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the arms, and then press both heels back, downward dog. Lift the left foot to the sky. Bend the left knee. Bend the left knee. Look under the right armpit to see if you can see that left foot. Lift that left foot to the sky. Bring that left knee to your left shoulder. And then back up. Three-legged dog. Step that left foot forward, drop the right knee. Inhale, reach up, kneeling warrior. Exhale, bring both hands to the left side of that thigh, prayer twist. Now, push your elbow into the outer thigh and feel the inner thigh resist. So the inner thigh is stabilizing and strengthening against the force of your arms pushing into that leg. Bend the knees, prayer twist. Bring that top shoulder back. Keep the inner thigh engaged. Keep the inner thigh engaged and stable. Curl the toes of the back foot and lift the back knee, coming into your warrior one prayer twist. Keep the inner thigh, that front thigh, nice and engaged. Then inhale, come up, warrior one. Inner thigh stays engaged, holding that knee nice and stable. Exhale, hands to the earth, step back, downward dog. And just feel that left leg for a moment. Feel the inner and outer thighs of that left leg. They worked. Lift that right foot high to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee and look under that left armpit. Look for that foot. Lift that right foot to the sky. Now bend the right knee and bring it to the right shoulder. Kick back, three-legged dog. And then step that right foot forward, drop the left knee. Inhale, come up, kneeling warrior. Bring your attention to the front thigh, that right thigh, inner and outer, stabilize it, squeeze the buttocks, so feel this connection. The thighs tighten and the buttocks tightens, stabilizing the knee joint. Sweep both hands to the right and feel the force of that left elbow trying to push against the thigh. The inner thigh engages, stabilizing, prayer twist. Bring the thumbs to the heart, bring that top shoulder back. Inner thigh engage. Now, inner thigh engaged, outer thigh engaged, they're going to stabilize that front foot as you curl the toes of the back foot. Lift the back knee and feel that stability keep you balanced. So the inner thigh, the outer thigh, really helpful for balance poses. Inhale, come up, warrior one. Once again, feeling that front thigh, working hard here to stabilize the knee joint. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bring the head forward, high plank. Now in high plank, squeeze the inner thighs. Feel the inner thighs engage. Tuck the tailbone so you feel the inner thighs stabilizing you in plank. Feel that strength, the inner thighs. Drop the knees, lift the feet. Drop the chest and the chin, inchworm. And then come all the way down. Hands under the shoulders, shoulders back and down, elbows to the ribs. Lift the head, lift the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest, press a little bit into the hands, cobra. Feel the low back here. Now tighten the inner thighs here in the back bend. Notice how that changes the quality, the dynamic of the back bend. Inner thighs light up. Exhale, child pose. Knees wide. Let the thighs relax. Inhale, tabletop. Curl the toes, downward dog. And then walk, float, or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Have your blocks handy. Grab the back of the shins. Bring the head down towards the shins. Really feeling this deep forward bend. Paschimottanasana. Release the shins, lift the gaze, drop the buttocks, feel the legs bend, nice bend in the knees, bring the hands out, eyes lift, reverse swan dive. Exhale, prayer. Mountain pose. Mountain pose, activate the arches of the feet. Now, as you activate the arches of the feet, notice how the inner thighs light up. So light up the inner thighs, let the buttocks squeeze so the outer thighs light up. So between the arches lifting, igniting the inner thighs, the buttocks squeezing, igniting the outer thighs, we have stability for the knee joint, shoulders roll back and down, palms face forward. Keep your attention on the inner and outer thighs. Make them strong. Let the head float up. And feel the action of the thighs in mountain pose. And then grab your blocks and bring your blocks either side of the feet onto their flat position. Mountain pose. Gently bend the knees and drop the butt. Feel the center of gravity into those sinking thighs. Lean into that left leg and lift the right knee up, crane pose. Now feel how the standing leg, the left leg, is moving. Mine's under a couple of mats, so it's a little unstable here. If you want it to be more stable, come onto the floor if you like. Exhale, lower down. Mountain pose. Strengthen, lift the arches, feel the inner thighs engage. Squeeze the butt, outer thighs engage, shoulders back and down. Soften the knees, sink into that right leg this time. Lift the left knee, crane pose. Feel the thighs working here, feel the knee joint, feel the calf muscle. Exhale, come down, mountain pose, engage. Engage strong legs, lifted arches, shoulders back and down, butt tight. Exhale, crane pose, left side, left leg supporting right knee lifted. Now this time, cross that right knee over the left knee and simply stand the ball of the foot on top of the block. Now squeeze the inner thighs so you feel the inner thighs push and engage, squeezing together. This is going to take a lot of pressure off the foot on the block. It's going to allow that foot to come back and wrap around the calf muscle. So you feel the strength of the adductors in eagle pose, holding you steady. Inhale, release. Exhale, mountain pose. Lift the arches. Feel the difference between the inner left thigh and the inner right thigh now, after that work. Squeeze the butt. Feel the outer thighs engage, the abductors, the IT band area. Shoulders back and down. Start to sink into crane, lifting that left knee on the right, the left knee and the right knee stays bent. Cross over, left foot taps down onto the block. Squeeze the inner thighs so you feel the inner thighs really squeezing in here, and that takes the weight into that right foot so the left foot can wrap behind the right calf. Inner thighs strong. Inner thighs doing all the work here to stabilize you in. Eagle pose, Garudasana. Exhale, release and unwind, mountain pose. So we're starting to feel the relationship between the inner thighs and the abdominals here. Let's look at that relationship a little bit more. Inhale, come down to crane, leaning into the left foot, right knee lifts. Cross that right knee over onto the block, ball of the foot onto the block, squeeze the thighs, and this time bring the right elbow under the left into eagle arms. So we have a slight crunch forward here. So the abdominals are engaged. Now squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the arms. So feel this relationship. Arms squeeze, thighs squeeze. Right foot comes back behind the calf, squeezing and feeling the support from the core here, the abdominals. Squeezing arms, squeezing thighs, squeezing arms. Breathing. Exhale, gently release. Close the eyes and feel the thighs, the inner thighs. So our twisted root variations, crossing the thighs like this, really can strengthen those inner thighs. Crane pose, right leg standing, left knee lifted. Take that left foot onto the block. Drop the buttocks a little bit and start to squeeze the thighs. Feel the strength in the thighs. Arms out, left arm, left elbow under right, squeeze the arms. So feel the squeeze of the arms and the squeeze of the thighs. Free up the balance here to lift that left foot off the block, wrapping it back around behind the calf muscle. So squeeze, breathe, eyes on a drishti. Use the strength of the adductors here. Strength of the arms to help. The back body opening up, front body contracting to stabilize. Exhale, release. Mountain pose. Now in mountain pose, bring a bias of support to the left leg so you feel the left leg tighten. Bring the right foot onto your block. Knee points out. So one could say it's a variation of tree pose. Vrikshasana. Stabilize the left leg. Really feel that left leg tighten and strengthen as you float that right foot up into the thigh of the standing leg. Left leg strong, left inner adductor flexing, pushing into the foot, foot pushing into the thigh. Keep that stability, thigh and foot, as you lift your branches. Feel how the thighs, inner and outer, work together to stabilize the knee in tree pose. Push stronger, foot to thigh, thigh to foot. Exhale, release. Close the eyes and feel mountain pose. Engage the right leg a little more. So you have a bias towards the right. Left foot comes to the block. Now feel what it's like on this right side. Feel what's working. So I'm feeling a little cramp right here at the base of the the top of the hamstring. So that's interesting. So I'm going to rearrange I'm going to stand up taller. Standing up taller takes a little pressure off the top of the hamstring. Engage that standing leg. Lift that left foot up into the thigh, into the trunk. Let the trunk be strong. Trunk lifts up. Right leg lifts up. Right leg strong. Right inner engagement. Foot against thigh, thigh against foot. Use that stability, that strength of the adductor, abductor, stabilizing the knee. Exhale, release. Mountain pose. And feel the four directions of the thighs, inner, outer, top, bottom, front, back. Notice the knees. And if you have hyperextensive joints, always remembering to slightly unlock the knees. Squeezing the butt. Taking the weight into that left foot. Lift that right knee. And then grab that right foot. Stabilize that standing left leg. Push down through the heel, lengthen up, and start to pull that foot up towards the chest. Standing pigeon. So pushing down, left leg stable. Lifting the foot towards the chest, not the chest down. Shoulders back and down, lifting up. Inner thigh engage, outer thigh engage. Press down through the foot. Exhale, gently release. Mountain pose. So once again, feeling this relationship between our balance poses and the strength of the inner and outer thighs. Stabilizing the knee. Feel a bias towards that right standing leg, lift the left knee. Grab the left foot. And then feel the whole body lift up through that right leg. Squeezing, bringing the foot towards the chest, shoulders back, heart open. Exhale, release. Mountain pose. And then exhale, slide the hands down. Come all the way down onto the back. Pick the knees up, feet up, 90 degrees. And cross the right knee over the left knee into twisted root. So we feel this engagement of the inner thighs once again. So squeezing the thighs, just like we've been practicing. Take both hands onto the front of that quadricep. And we'll feel this relationship between the adductors. So we're going to continue the squeezing. It's going to tighten the core. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath. Lift the tailbone and then exhale. Press hands against thigh, thigh against hands. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the hands, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the hands, squeeze the thigh. Inhale. Hold the breath. Lift the tailbone. Exhale. Push hands against thigh, thigh against hands. Inner adductors. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhale. Hold the breath, lift the tailbone, exhale, squeeze thighs, squeeze hand against thighs, squeeze inner, 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 and release. And notice how that inner thigh, release the knees. Notice how that inner squeeze adds so much more fire to the abdominal pressure here. So the left inner thigh has a fascial connection to the right abdominal area, that crossover. So if we bring our hands underneath the head and lift the left knee up, and we lift the head up, and we bring the right elbow towards that left knee, we can feel how the inner thigh, focus on your inner left thigh, and your right abdominal. Feel those two come together, and then the elbow and knee naturally come together. Drop the left foot, drop the head, lift the right knee, lift the head. Now bring that right inner thigh in, feel that left abdominal, and bring the left abdominal and the right thigh together, 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 and feel that abdominal crunch. Exhale, come down. So there's this connection, thigh to abdominals. Lift both knees up. Release the head. This time the left knee comes over the right, twisted root. Squeeze the abdominals. Squeeze the thighs. Hands to the quads. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath, lift the tailbone, exhale, squeeze the thighs, push the thighs, squeeze the thighs, push the thighs, squeeze the thighs, push the thighs. Relax, inhale. Hold the breath, lift the tailbone, exhale, squeeze the thighs, press the thighs, squeeze and press, squeeze and press, squeeze and press. Inhale. Lift the tailbone. Exhale, last one. Squeeze and press, squeeze and press, squeeze and press, release. So now we've really activated those quads. We've activated the inner thighs, the outer thighs. Stand the feet nice and wide and start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. As the knees come to the left, let the right hand reach over the head. And as the knees come to the right, left hand. So you're swimming backstroke here. Let the head start to turn towards the arm that's coming up. Move at the speed of your breath. And then bring the feet and knees together and pop the right knee over the left knee. Bring the hands out to the side, palms face down. Push down through the left heel and lift the pelvis off the floor. And just hold yourself in this one-legged cross-kneed bridge pose. Squeeze the inner thighs. Squeeze the inner thighs as you do this. Now tilt the pelvis to the left, drop the knees to the left, and relax the inner thigh squeeze, and then tighten the inner thigh squeeze. Relax the inner thigh squeeze. And then squeeze the inner thighs. Relax. Squeeze. And then relax completely into that twist. Turn the head to the right. Palms face up. Relax even more. Keeping the knees crossed. Just let the hips relax. And just before we leave this twist, see if you can take the right foot and wrap it underneath the left calf. So you're kind of coming into twisted root lumbar twist. Notice how that feels. And then gently release, unwind. Come into Shavasana for a moment and feel the contrast between the thighs, legs, hips. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees splay out to the side and notice the contrast between the right hip, left hip. Lift the knees, bring the knees and the feet together. Left knee over right knee. Walk the right foot in a little bit, press down through the heel, squeeze the inner thighs and lift. So squeeze those inner thighs. Tilt the pelvis to the right, knees to the right, let the knees fall to the right. And then just practice squeezing the inner thighs and releasing. Squeezing and releasing. And you might want to practice that with the breath. And practice with both types of breath. So sometimes you'll squeeze the inner thighs as you exhale. And relax as you inhale. And then switch it around. Inhale and squeeze. Exhale, release. Two different effects. And then relax completely. Relax completely. And then try bringing that left foot under that right calf. Squeeze and relax the thighs a few times, pulsing. And then gently unwind, come into Shavasana. Let the whole body go. Relax the lower back. Relax the shoulders. Relax the face. Relax the breath. Bring your attention back to the breath. Inhale, bring the soles of the feet together into bound angle on the back, and just notice the sensations in the inner thighs. Gently bring the knees together. Pick the knees up and hug the knees towards the chest. Lift the head for a moment and just curl up into child pose on the back, so you're feeling the abdominals engaged, but you're feeling the low back release. Lay the head down and then rock the knees side to side. The next time you rock all the way over to one side, support the head. And then gently press up to a seated position. Come into the same seated position you started your practice. Bring the hands to the inner thighs and just notice how they feel. As you bring your hands together at the chest, let the head bow in gratitude. Happy Sunday. Namaste.